In our headlines on this Wednesday afternoon, June 19th, here on the peninsula. North Korea's Kim Jong-un and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin sit down for their summit in Pyongyang this afternoon, following an extravagant welcoming ceremony at noon to mark Putin's latest visit to the regime in over 2 decades. Meanwhile, here in the southern part of the Korean peninsula, Seoul's foreign policy and defense officials convey their concerns to their Chinese counterparts regarding closer collaboration between Moscow and Pyongyang. Also, over on Wall Street, the S&P 500 soared over 13 points to close its trading session on Tuesday at a fresh high of 5,487.03 on the back of Nvidia's race to new heights. We start across the border in North Korea, where Russian President Vladimir Putin touched down in the wee hours of Wednesday morning instead of Tuesday evening as initially reported. Summit talks began after a flamboyant ceremony at noon to formally welcome Putin's latest visit to Pyongyang. For more, I have our North Korean affairs correspondent Kim Jong-un standing by live on the line. Jong-un, welcome.
Hello, Sunny.
Right, so do fill us in on the latest events thus far, Jong-un.
Yes, Sunny. Just past 1 p.m. this afternoon, Russia media TASS News reported that Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un began the talks. The summit actually took place earlier than expected after an opening ceremony took place at around 12:15 Korea Standard Time. Now, you're still looking at the opening ceremony footage. The summit is reportedly accompanied by officials from both sides, 6 from North Korea, including Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee, and 13 from Russia, including Choi's counterpart Sergei Lavrov. The summit, which is taking place right as we speak, is expected to last for about 90 minutes, and the leaders are also expected to take a walk afterwards and have tea together. Now, what to look forward to is the summit's outcome, as the two leaders have been discussing the signing of a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement for months now. On Tuesday, before leaving for Pyongyang, Putin accepted a Russian Foreign Ministry proposal to sign the partnership with North Korea, but he left room for further negotiations. So we can say that additional talks are taking place as we speak. Now, Putin arrived at Pyongyang International Airport in the early hours of Wednesday morning, as you said, for his first visit in 24 years, and was welcomed by the North's leader at the airport. He was waiting there until Putin's plane arrived. Kim accompanied him to the Kumsusan Guest Palace. It's the same accommodation used by Chinese President Xi Jinping back in 2019 during his visit. Now, regarding the visit, South Korea is closely monitoring the situation as new treaties or a joint declaration may include military cooperation, as a comprehensive agreement means cooperation in all fields, including military cooperation. The South Korean government has been consistent that any relationship between Moscow and Pyongyang mustn't violate UN Security Council resolutions, and that the relationship must not hinder regional peace and security. Just yesterday, the South Korean Foreign Ministry reiterated this stance while adding that it has clearly conveyed the message to Russia as well. We will know more when Moscow and Pyongyang announce the outcome of the negotiations and potentially after they sign the partnership agreement, and we'll have those updates in a later broadcast. That's all from me. Back to you, Sunny.
All right, Jong-un, thank you for the update. That was our Kim Jong-un reporting on the summit between Moscow and Pyongyang taking place in the regime as we speak. Meanwhile, Seoul has conveyed to Beijing its concerns over closer collaboration between Moscow and Pyongyang. The sentiments were shared during security talks back on Tuesday. Our foreign affairs correspondent Pyongyang has details.
Foreign and defense officials from South Korea and China met in Seoul for high-level talks on Tuesday, the same day that Russian President Vladimir Putin headed to North Korea. During the meeting, South Korea expressed concerns over Putin's visit to Pyongyang, highlighting that this should not lead to stronger military cooperation between Russia and North Korea. It once again asked China to play a constructive role in order to achieve denuclearization. In response, China said its policy towards the Korean peninsula has not changed and said it will play a constructive role in resolving issues in the region. Tuesday's 2+2 meeting was led by Vice Foreign Minister Kim Jong-un and his Chinese counterpart Sun Weidong. The two countries agreed to hold such talks last month when President Yoon Suk-yeol sat down for a separate bilateral meeting with Chinese Premier Li Chang on the sidelines of the trilateral summit with Japan. The dialogue was first established in June 2013 and was held that year and in 2015 between Director General level officials. The meeting has not taken place since then amid strained bilateral relations after South Korea agreed to deploy a U.S. missile defense shield called the THAAD system. Meanwhile, another high-level Chinese official is set to visit South Korea. The Foreign Ministry announced that Shin Chang-sing, the chief of China's Jiangsu province, will visit South Korea for 2 days, starting Wednesday.
It's a visit by a top Chinese provincial government official amid recent high-level exchanges between South Korea and China. We expect this opportunity to boost practical cooperation between South Korea and China.
Jiangsu province, located on the east coast of China, has the second largest economy among provincial governments in the country and has close trade and investment ties with South Korea. While in Seoul, Shin is set to meet with South Korea's trade minister, as well as business people in the country. Pyongyang, Arirang News.
And amid increased activity by Pyongyang near the inter-Korean border, there have been incidents of border intrusions by the regime soldiers that the South Korean military believes have been accidental thus far. Our defense correspondent Jeju reports.
North Korean troops briefly crossed the military demarcation line again Tuesday morning. According to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, some 20 to 30 North Korean soldiers intruded over the border at around 8:30 a.m. They immediately returned north after the South Korean military fired warning shots and aired warning messages. A similar intrusion took place on June 9th when troops appeared to get lost while working in the DMZ. As was the case then, the South Korean military says Tuesday's border crossing appears to be accidental. The regime has been actively deploying troops to the front line for various construction activities. A military official said dozens, if not hundreds, have been deployed every day since April at around 10 different places within the DMZ. The military identified ongoing activities related to the laying of mines and the clearing of wasteland, the reinforcement of tactical roads, and the installation of anti-tank barriers.
Such trends have continued for the past 2 months, and various activities are underway within the demilitarized zone currently as well.
A military official also pointed out that several North Korean soldiers have reportedly been killed or injured while laying mines. Some experts say Pyongyang might be trying to broadcast its war readiness as North Korea has restored its frontline guard posts and dismantled railways connecting the two Koreas since suspending the September 19th Inter-Korean military agreement last November. However, the South's military assesses that the measures are mainly aimed at strengthening internal control, especially to prevent North Koreans from defecting. As North Korea is expected to do more construction work within the DMZ, South Korea says it is closely cooperating with the United Nations Command to prepare for future eventuality. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
In other news, Tuesday's large-scale walkout by Korea's medical practitioners appears to have had limited impact, but threats of broader collective action are raising fears about future healthcare services. Our Moon Hye-ryun has more.
Nationwide strikes led by the Korean Medical Association has resulted in little disruption for patients so far, but stern responses from the government. The Health Ministry reported that just under 15% of medical institutions around the country staged walkouts on Tuesday. But so far there has been no major break in medical treatment at community hospitals. During a rally on the same day, the KMA announced that it will start an indefinite walkout next Thursday should the government not meet what it claims are justified demands from doctors. Doctors were immediately ordered to return to work, with the government stating that failure to comply could lead to medical license suspensions. The KMA was also reported to the Fair Trade Commission for encouraging the illegal practice of refusing to treat patients. During a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, President Yoon Suk-yeol stipulated that such illegal actions must be met with an appropriate punitive response.
정부는 국민의 생명과 건강을 지킬 책무가 있는 만큼 환자를 저버린 불법 행위에 대해서는 엄정 대처할 수밖에 없습니다. 국민이 동의하지 않고 실현도 불가능한 주장을 고집하면 모두가 피해자가 될 수밖에 없습니다.
He further emphasized that doctors should communicate their opinions instead of resorting to drastic measures, calling on junior doctors and medical students to resume their studies, and promising to provide the necessary support for them to do so. Medical professors at Seoul National University hospitals began an indefinite walkout the previous day, leading to the number of outpatient treatments at the hospital dropping by 27% on the first day. The Education Ministry responded by informing each university that professors participating in collective leave of absence from university hospitals could be subject to disciplinary action. But with medical professors at other major university hospitals, commonly dubbed the Big Five, such as Yonsei University, also set to join the walkouts next week, and others in discussion to do so too, concerns are growing over how this could develop. The Catholic University of Korea is due to gather its medical professors on Thursday to discuss this matter, and professors at Sungkyunkwan University are also to convene soon. In an effort to minimize severe medical disruptions, the government has implemented a rotational on-call system for emergency cases. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News.
The S&P 500 surged on Tuesday to end the day's session at a fresh high amid advances by Nvidia. Our Uijeongbu has the latest.
Both the S&P 500 and Nasdaq closed at record highs on Tuesday, with the S&P 500 hitting a new all-time high for the second day straight. The S&P 500 rose 13.80 points, or 0.25%, to close the trading session at 5,487.03, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq ending 5.21 points, or 0.03% higher, to reach an all-time high of 17,862.23 points. The Standard & Poor's 500 is an index that tracks the stock performance of 500 of the largest companies listed on stock exchanges in the United States. It's one of the most commonly followed equity indexes and includes approximately 80% of the total market capitalization of U.S.-listed public companies. The index also reached an all-time high for the 31st time this year, driven by AI momentum. And much of that AI-driven push can be attributed to Nvidia. Dubbed Wall Street's AI poster child, the tech firm is now the most valuable company in the world, surpassing Microsoft for the title. Nvidia shares rose 3.5% higher on Tuesday, while Microsoft fell 0.5%. Its market cap now stands at roughly $3.34 trillion. The U.S. chipmaker has enjoyed a massive surge for the past 18 months, as its chips are unmatched in producing processors that power AI systems, including generative AI, the technology behind OpenAI's ChatGPT. Uijeongbu, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, chances of a full-scale confrontation between Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah have been raised. Comments to this end by Israel follow footage shared by Hezbollah allegedly showing Israeli military and civilian sites in a number of Israeli cities. The 9-minute video clip itself comes as Israel's military claims plans for an assault against southern Lebanon had been approved amid rampant clashes with the Iran-backed militants based in the region. In a statement on social media, Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz warned, in the case of an all-out war, Hezbollah will be, quote, destroyed and Lebanon beaten. Over in the U.S., the governor of New Mexico has declared a state of emergency for areas affected by wildfires. Two blazes that began on Monday forced the evacuation of a town of over 7,000 people and damaged 500 structures. The larger fire was detected Monday morning and has affected a populated tribal area. The second fire was detected in the afternoon in a remote mountainous region. As of midday Tuesday local time, both blazes reportedly remain active. On a light note now, BTS fans are in for a treat as Jimin is poised to release his second solo album titled MUSE on July 19th. Now, this is according to the boy band's label, Big Hit Music, on social media. Jimin's track Closer Than This, which was released shortly after he enrolled in the military enlisted in the military that is, last December, will be one of the 7 tracks on MUSE. The restoration of a historical site in central Seoul has been completed, and now city officials are offering the public the chance to experience firsthand its significance and more. Our Choi was there.
After 8 years of restoration, the site of the State Council of the Joseon Dynasty, or Uijeongbu, is open to the people again from Tuesday. It is a symbolic heritage site near the Gwanghwamun Gate, one of the landmarks in central Seoul. During the dynasty, the Uijeongbu was the highest office, led by the 3 highest-ranking officials that advised the king and deliberated over key problems. Following the Japanese occupation, most of its main buildings were destroyed and the land used for colonial offices. In 2016, the Seoul metropolitan government began to restore the site.
The Uijeongbu State Council Site Square project aimed to restore the historical and cultural landscape around the Gwanghwamun area and return it to the people, emphasizing its significant academic value.
The sites of the 3 main buildings, which had been buried for over 100 years, and the small garden where the officials rested, were uncovered together.
People can relax and feel the history within the newly created garden, right beside where the old pond and pavilion used to be.
Visitors also can experience the authentic atmosphere of that time through the preserved old stone paths and some new square foundation stones.
I was curious. I wondered how the structure had been restored and what the old Uijeongbu would look like. That's why I came out here on purpose.
I think it's wonderful that the government has enabled people to have a view of the restored sites, that it shows the connection between and the importance of the history for the people of South Korea, that they take note of the heritage sites and that they are now able to have them open up for the public, which I think is very significant, that the public are able to see that and that you can share your history with the world in a sense.
The State Council site is open 24 hours a day, while an official opening ceremony is scheduled for mid-July. Choi, Arirang News.
A popular flowering plant known for its long-lasting blooms has taken over Korea's southern island of Jeju. Our Park Eun-woo offers us a glimpse.
Jeju Island is widely known for its different kinds of flowers that bloom by season. In summer, hydrangeas blossom in several spots across the island, especially in the southern part. At this time of year, Jeju is one of the best places to visit and take nice pictures with hydrangeas. As you can see, there's a wide variety of pastel-colored hydrangeas in pink, purple, blue, and many more. With these flowers, many tourist attractions on the island, including natural parks and botanical gardens, hold hydrangea festivals. Hyoeri Natural Park is known to have Jeju's longest hydrangea festival, running from March until August.
Hydrangeas, especially the purple ones, are so beautiful. I think it was really worth it coming here. It's so peaceful listening to the birds singing and feeling the fresh air in nature.
It feels great to be here with my high school classmates, meeting them after a long time. It's soothing as the hydrangeas bloomed beautifully. I'm going to visit here again.
Foreign tourists also enjoyed their time at the festival, saying that it's different from where they come from.
I've really enjoyed the experience. It's my first time being in an area this kind of surrounded by the hydrangeas. They're a favorite flower of mine, so just being here has been really peaceful, and also the people around have been very relaxed and nice, and it just has great vibes.
I mean, in Singapore, we don't usually get a lot of opportunities to see so many pretty flowers with these colors, and we don't get many parks like this, so I'm not used to this kind of tranquility.
As the relaxing hydrangea festivals are held until the end of summer, why not visit Jeju to experience the beautiful vibes of hydrangeas? Park Eun-woo, Arirang News, Jeju.
Let's take a look at the latest news in the world now. We begin today in the US, where President Joe Biden on Tuesday local time announced a new policy aimed at protecting hundreds of thousands of undocumented spouses of US citizens from deportation. Under Tuesday's executive order, some 500,000 people will be shielded from deportation, given the right to work in the US and a guided pathway to US citizenship. The program applies to those who have lived in the US for at least 10 years as of June 17th, while some 50,000 children under the age of 21 with a US citizen parent would also be eligible. While Biden's new executive action is widely seen as one of the most significant policies to protect immigrants since Obama's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program enacted 12 years ago, Republican Senator Bill Cassidy said that Biden's got a political problem in that he's going to shut the border down, while also reassuring his progressive left. With the support of nearly all of the country's lawmakers, Thailand's Senate on Tuesday passed a final reading of a marriage equality law, leaving only the royal approval before Thailand becomes the first country in Southeast Asia to recognize same-sex couples. The 152-member Thai Senate voted overwhelmingly in favor, with 130 votes for and only 4 votes against, while 18 senators abstained. The Marriage Equality Act includes amendments to the language in Thailand's civil and commercial code concerning spouses by changing men and women and husband and wife to individuals and marriage partners. Lawmakers and activists were seen celebrating inside and outside of the Thai parliament, waving rainbow flags in solidarity with the LGBT community. The bill now awaits the pro forma endorsement by the King of Thailand, which will then be published in the Royal Gazette, with the bill's effective date set for within 120 days of publication. Now to Saudi Arabia, where the annual 5-day Hajj Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca comes to an end on Wednesday. Pilgrims began performing the farewell tawaf on Tuesday, which includes the circling of the Kaaba in Mecca's Grand Mosque for the final time. Scorching heat of up to 51.8 degrees Celsius resulted in a number of casualties this year, where at least 550 pilgrims from Egypt, Jordan, Indonesia, Iran and Senegal have died from mostly heat-related illnesses. According to authorities, more than 1.6 million Muslims from 22 countries traveled to Mecca this year, while around 222,000 Saudi nationals and residents performed Hajj. The Hajj is one of the 5 pillars of Islam and is a religious duty that must be undertaken by all able-bodied Muslims at least once in their lifetime. Walter, the future-reading oracle orangutan at Dortmund Zoo, has his latest predictions, saying that Germany will win against Hungary in its second game of Euro 2024. The 35-year-old Sumatran orangutan has predicted World Cup, Euros, as well as European club competition results, and made his latest prediction on Tuesday by picking a sack of fresh fruits decorated with the German national football team's scarf first. Walter then went to take the Hungarian scarf as well, which the zoo spokesperson said he interprets as Hungary scoring an honourable goal at the end. Walter predicted Germany's win against Scotland in the Euro opening match. Kim Jong-un, Arirang News.
Good afternoon. The midsummer heat continues its upward trend across Korea, going 5 to 7 degrees above normal, with heat advisories in place for more parts of Korea. Seoul is forecast to have the season's highest temperatures at 35 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the monsoon season kicks off on Jeju tonight. And by Friday, Jeju could see up to 200 millimeters of heavy monsoon rain, while the rest of the southern regions could see 5 to 20 millimeters of rain until tomorrow. The rest of the country should be under blazing sunshine with very high UV rays. Afternoon highs could be 1 to 5 degrees higher this afternoon, topping out at 35 degrees here in the capital and Daejeon, Daegu, Gyeongju at 36 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow should be as hot as today. The monsoon season in the central regions usually begins around June 25th, but no exact date has been given by the weather agency yet. Meanwhile, tonight's monsoon rain on Jeju will continue into early next week. With that in mind, let's take a look at the international weather conditions.
And those are the headlines at this hour here in Korea. Coming up next is our daily panel session, so do stay with us.